care. It's called spying. Spying. Questioning a child about the details of the other parents, what he said about me and what your grandma said. She had something to say about what I had you on, what they said when I dropped you off. They asked about me, what he did, what they did when you was crying. Crying for what? What they said to you. They whooped you? Your grandma popped you? What you did? What happened to the other kids? She pushed you. Oh, spying. Spying. Spying, bitch. Spying. It's under the parental alienation part. Y'all hoes try to fake it and you don't read. First of all, you don't read because if you read, you wouldn't do this because you know it makes you a textbook definition of a parental alienator. It says questioning the child about the details of the other parent's life. Oh, you're spying. You're not parenting. The next one is eavesdropping on phone conversations between the child and the targeted parent. I have witnessed myself, you hoes sit in the background and tell the child, no, don't tell him that. Daddy asked him, what the toy I bought you? Or where that such and such. My little brother, shh, don't tell him that. No privacy to be able to speak and bond with their other parent. Y'all got y'all hands in every bit of the child's relationship with the father. And then when the relationship ain't good, you try to act like you ain't got nothing to do with it. Oh, if my son don't want to go over there, it must be something wrong with you. No, actually, you're a parental alienator. And you influence the fuck out of that child to carry on with the fuck shit that you carry on with. If you read, you'd understand that outside of this life, bitch, you dead ass wrong. And you can look the definition of what you are, a parental alienator. So eavesdropping on phone conversations between the child and the targeted parent. Then there is interfering with visitation. Let's talk about it, right? So interfering with visitation. Point 1, it says giving a child a choice as to whether to visit the targeted parent, often in violation of a court order. It says giving the child a choice, right? So when y'all be asking them kids, you want to go over there? It's so much shit that under the watch of you as a mother, the child does not get a say so. And you know what y'all say? It's because you a child. Stay in the child's place. There are a lot of things that them children tell y'all that they don't want to do. You don't give a fuck. You know why you a fuck? Because you know that when it comes down to you wanting the child to do something or go somewhere, you're the adult and you are, going to exert your adult authority over them to do what you tell them to do. But when it comes down to them going with their father or doing something that their father wants them to do or going where their father wants them to go or their father picking them up and taking them somewhere when they don't want to go, it turns into a let's ask the child. Let's see if he wants to do that. Let's see if she wants to do that. But there's so much stuff that if a bitch followed y'all around with a hidden camera, they would see that you make the child do all kind of shit they don't want to do. And you know why? Because you're the parent. And what you says goes. But you see yourself as an actual parent. You don't see the father as an actual parent. That's why when it comes down to what he wants, it isn't he's another parent and what he says goes. It's all about you. It's very self-absorbed and narcissistic. But you hoes get on the internet, listen to these podcasts, and you believe narcissists only come in the male form. And that's a lie. That's why there's the book Adult Daughters of Narcissistic Mothers. Because a lot of people coming from single mother-headed households, and we know the systemic reasons why, are narcissistic mothers. I'll get into that on a later live as to where that behavior comes from and why it's so widespread. Let me get back to the parental alienating because you won't get me to stop. So, interfering with visitation, giving a child a choice as to whether to visit with the targeted parents, often in violation of a court order. The next one is being inflexible to reasonable changes in the visitation schedule. Being inflexible to reasonable changes to the visitation schedule. So, when these dads have things come up in their life and they would like to alter the schedule, you bitches operate like the schedule is set in stone and there is no alterations based on your plans and what you have to do, as if you're the only one in the co-parenting scenario that actually matters. You also project this energy out onto the child to where they believe that if my mama say he didn't show up like he was supposed to at the times that he was, that he's some sort of villain or demon. See, the thing about parental alienating is that it involves influencing the child to have your perspective or your viewpoint or your angle on the situation all the time. So what happens is, as time goes on, these children that y'all are raising with this parental alienating behavior, they develop a mom's perspective only, and they have no understanding for the father's side. The reason why this is a problem is because when they grow up and have their own children, right, they have a warped reality of how things work. Low confidence as young boys in their abilities to be fathers, and the young girls repeat the same behavior on their baby daddies, and in turn it creates a culture like we have now where there is no value in teamwork, relationships, family units actually working together to raise a good product. There is no balance. You are correct. The next one is when we're talking about interfering with visitation, Scheduling activities that conflict with the visitation. Scheduling activities that conflict with the visitation. Scheduling activities that conflict with the visitation. So when your baby daddy say, hey, I want to come and get them on the first weekend of the month, and you say, nope, we got plans. And then he says, okay, well, what about the second weekend? Because that's the only time I'm going to be free. Nope, we got plans on that one. He got an extracurricular activity and you can't take him to it because I pay for everything and you don't give me enough money. So nope, that weekend don't work for me neither. And then he says, well, what about the next weekend? Nope, me and my baby going out of town that weekend. You're going to have to pick a day. So you schedule things that conflict with visitation on purpose so that the father gets less access to the child. And when they do get access, it's based on how you want them to have access, when you want them to have access, on a schedule that you want them to have access. So guess what this does? It makes it where spending time with my child as the father is never an actual convenience to me. If you set something up repeatedly where it is an inconvenience to the other person, even if they're doing it, it becomes less attractive. Now, if you're a real woman, you want this to occur where spending time with your children as their father is something that is attractive, is easy to do, so that the person can repeat the behavior over and over again and it's fruitful for the child. Y'all hoes like to make it hard, uncomfortable, make it where the process of even scheduling to get the children is tedious, right? And so then, of course, the person over time becomes turned off, but not from actually spending time with their children, not from actually being a father to their children, but from dealing with you bitches. Most of your children, right, they have issues with their relationship with their father because of what type of woman you are. You're a parental alienator and you need to knock it off. Moving on to the next point. It says creating temptations designed to make visitation less appealing. So when you do give in and you're going with your daddy, then you tell the children, well, me and your siblings, we going to the arcade, or we finna go out of town, or when you come back, I'm gonna have some candy and stuff for you, or we gonna do this when you get home, to where the child becomes anxious, right? I want to go with my dad, but my mama's saying and planning out all this fun stuff back at home. I'm like torn in between the two. You fucking with the child mental, but you trying to make yourself feel better and interfere with the child's relationship with their father. When the child is on visitation with their father, you on the phone bringing up candy and trips and toys you done bought them at home, trying to make them want to go home while they're trying to spend time with their father. You're fucking them up mentally while thinking that you're doing something to the baby daddy. Parental alienator. Go look it up. It's a fact. And oh no, I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep going. Right? So now we get into other signs of someone that parental alienates. Refuses to give the father access to things like medical records or school records. This is when you hoes take a nigga on and off the school list, right? The one day he say, I'm finna go pick little so-and-so up from school. You call or run down there and remove him off the school list and tell the school, don't let him get him, even though you know damn well this man's child, right? You full all out act like you're protecting the child against something, but you're not. You're operating in your ego, narcissistic, controlling, right? Self-absorbed behavior that has to do with you feeling better or feeling in control. Often single mothers have this bad because they struggle with relinquishing power. They believe the child belongs to them because they do more in the physical, right? But that is not the balance in parenting. Regardless of how much you pay for a buyer, if you're the custodial parent, all of this shit is wrong. Let me keep going. So refusing access to the father to be able to get the child's medical records, to be able to get access to the child's school records, pick them up from school, be involved in school activities without going through you. Most of you as women that behave like this, you do this because of power and control. It's not that you don't actually want the man to be able to go to the school or be involved. You don't want him to be involved without going through you, which is very self-absorbed. It is very unempathetic of the child or the other person, right? And it makes it where it hurts your child in the end the most. Most men will move the fuck on after a while in regards to their day-to-day living. So what you think you're doing to hurt them, you're not. Does it hurt if a man sits down and actually opens up about what he's going through with his child? Yes, it does. But does it stop the overall progression of this individual adult? Does it make them want to come back and be with you? Does it make them want to rectify the situation or talk to you more? No, it does not. It actually makes it worse. So refusing access to the child's medical or school records. This is when you hoes pick and choose what lists you want to put the man on at the school. This is when you bitches sit around and you take him on and off the pickup lists and visitation lists where a man can't even go and just wake up and decide, hey, I want to go eat lunch with my child, right? The next one is not allowing a child to transport his or her things between residences. So when you always be knowing you don't have certain things at your dad's house, you will keep the shit at your house to make sure that the children have issues in regards to the dad caring for him while they're under their care. So for example, some of you hoes, out of spite, not because it actually makes sense and you know that the children have a wardrobe at their father's house, you send the kids with minimal shit, a bag with maybe one pair of shoes and a pair of night clothes, and that's it, knowing the child is going to stay longer than that. Some of you bitches, you will make it where the child cannot take their key toys and items that they enjoy. So while they're there, you know the child is going to worry and have anxiety about certain things they want to play with. And in your mind, you've told yourself, if he want to make the child fucking happy, he'll go buy him some toys or some clothes or whatever. Wonderful. Don't even disagree with that. The problem is y'all bitches be knowing, right, that the setup at the father's house is not like that because they already don't go over that much based on this type of behavior. So you do things like that out of spite, right? It does not create balance. It's not helping your child. All it does is stroke your narcissistic, right, behavior, self-absorbed, controlling ass ways. That's it. I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep going. The other one is acting hurt and sad if the child enjoys his or her time with the other parent. This makes the child flaw at 5 and 6 years old, 8 and 9 years old, 10 and 11 years old. Y'all be making these kids faking it a bitch because when they go with their dad, they have to act like they not having that much fun. Or when they come back home with you, they have to pretend like they didn't enjoy the trip that much. They can't say what they really want to say because they know every bit of the energy you give off, even if you don't talk directly negative about the father, you don't like it. You don't like it. You don't like the man. You don't like that. You can't control or manipulate or be in charge of their relationship with their dad. So the children, even at 4 and 5 years old, know how to hold back on their excitement about going with their daddy, spending time with their daddy, even the people that their daddy introduced them with. They know that if I act like my daddy girlfriend is nice or my dad's wife is nice and she buy me things and do stuff for me, it's going to make you get an attitude and act a certain way. You're going to try to deny it and act like you don't, but even the children see it. You are a parental alienator. Not a good parent. And see, the problem with y'all receiving this is the fact that you think that even though I do all of this stuff, but I'm the one that feed them most of the time and clothe them most of the time, they live under my roof, that I'm doing a good job parenting. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm blunt enough to tell it to you. No, you're not. And then some of y'all, you were raised this way. So of course it's going to be difficult for you to receive this for what it is, right? And everything I just read, you can Google it. If you get online, right, you go on any family court or child psychology website and you look up parental alienation, it is a real thing. And guess who does it? Women. 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 Females, girls, moms, they're the ones that do it. So this is not one of those videos where you can say it goes both ways. No, it's a one way. You ever roll down a one-way street? All the cars going the same way. One-way conversation. Females. So I'm going to go back to what I said when I first got on here. A lot of fathers are being kept from their children. A lot of children are being influenced by their mothers to vibe, have energy, operate, think, and believe a certain way towards their dads. In our community, we are in a pandemic, epidemic, whatever you want to call it, of children being raised with one parent leading everything. And that parent is usually a female, and the child is usually getting a woman's perspective on life only. And so the boys are being babied and more emotional than logical, and the girls are put in a space where they are seeking validation and using the wrong parts of themselves to find fulfillment. So we extra hoeing ourselves out, and the guys that are being raised are dealing with so much emotional shit. They are not protecting, providing, getting in their purpose, making children from a space of responsibility and duty and standing on business when it comes to that. Just letting it sink in. It is a problem in our community. And this is the thing for me. For the family members of the people that do this, the mother that's watching her daughter parental alienate your grandbaby from their father, the aunties that's sitting up watching their niece do this shit with their baby daddy, the homegirls and friends of women that you can tell over time, it's not just that this man is just some sort of deadbeat. My friend be doing the most, right? For y'all, you sit back. For dudes that you laid up with bitches that you knowing they lying about paternity, they parental alienating, they operate in a certain way, all of y'all are responsible as well. And it's the same thing I've said on videos to men that ride around with homeboys that know that these niggas is splurging in the strip club on hoes, but won't go do for their children. I would say the same thing to y'all that I said to them on a live I made a while back. Y'all pathetic and just as bad as the hoes that parental alienate. Ho, is you and your mother. Bitch, it's you and your auntie. Ho, is you and your group of friends that click up and carry on with this bum ass behavior because it hurts the child. Children are not better off being raised by only a mom. It is statistically proven that the worst product comes from households where there's only women raising the children. They need male and female influence to be socially acceptable in this world, to build healthy relationships, to maintain healthy social circles with associateships and with business. The reason why is not because Dorsey is saying so. It is because if you look about the world, it is made up of both men and women. So how can you prepare properly a child for the world if you're only raising them to interact with one gender, and then when they're out of your care, they have to interact with both? It's not very hard to understand. But if your emotions are at the forefront of everything that you think and believe, it's going to make no sense to you. This is why in the dating pool, so many women have complaints about men operating like bitches, not being able to sustain stability, right? The basics, feeding yourself, clothing yourself, roof over your own. The majority of these men that we have these complaints about come from single mother-headed households. It don't take a rocket scientist or the smartest bitch in the world to bring it full circle and understand the very men and the traits of these men that we complain about, they get it from their mothers. That's why most women that do struggle with a man actually being a deadbeat, there is a fucking bum ass mother that raised him condoning his deadbeat ass behavior. Which means that he should have had a father actively being involved in his upbringing so that he can understand what it means to be a grown man, to make sacrifices, to protect, to provide, to understand your children are your duty. Bills and responsibilities once you start fucking and impregnating women are a duty. Just looking at y'all like y'all looking at me, letting it sink in. A lot of y'all bitches need to get out the fucking way. Get out the motherfucking way. You're a nuisance. You're a problem. You're an aggravation. All while you think you're the GOAT as a single mother. You're not. Stop trying to carry on and be married to these fucking bum-ass single mother sob stories. They don't give us an award for that. As a woman, let me speak to you woman to woman. At the end of your days, you get no award. Even if you are one of the women that are suffering from a deadbeat baby daddy, they don't give you an award for it, ma'am. When your kids graduate and they move on into their own lives, you get left the fuck behind in your miserable, bitter testimony about what you had to do all by yourself. I'm trying to show you how to empower yourself. I do Zooms and one-on-one phone calls. I have an event coming up July 6th in Atlanta. Get your tickets by clicking the link in my bio, right? And come out and sit live and get this real, right? Sit in the audience and receive this. I give you, every time I come on here, the tools, the tips, the tricks, the things to shift your beliefs, because that controls your behavior, your perspective, so you can have a real perception, because there's a difference between perspective and perception of this life. And understand, you're not gonna get an award by carrying on about what a nigga did to you, about what your kid's daddy did or didn't give you, about what lie you were told that you believed, about how you were in your loose stage and kept having babies or a baby with a man that showed you no real attraction to being in a monogamous long-term relationship with you. with you. They don't give us an award. There is no special spot in heaven next to Jesus Christ for you saying, I'm a sad single mother that I've been doing everything by myself and everything my kids got, I do. There's no award for that, ma'am. There's not. So I don't know why you bitches keep running and signing up for, you know, the traits and the behaviors from other women. Hey, show me how you do that. Show me how you parental alienate. Show me how you spy on your baby daddy. Show me how you made up a rule. Well, if you don't meet your baby daddy new girlfriend, the kids can't be around their daddy. Like, I don't know why y'all sign up for this fuck shit. They're not going to award you for that. And your kid will be just another statistic. Because that's what black kids are when you do this. Also, when children are raised in a single parent household, y'all think when I be saying that it is the worst product that's produced is because I'm just talking about the aspect of men and women. No, honey, no. The school system will tell you that the reading and math scores, right? The resource pool for children coming from a single parent household sucks dicks. Sucks dicks. So even though there is a smaller percentage that are the exception to this, the majority of our children in our community suck rabbit dicks at math and reading. In order to really be somebody in this world, right? Meaning be successful and continually stabilize yourself, you have to have a space of math and reading. Everything requires math and reading. Also, the skills needed to be able to maintain healthy relationships. And as the product of a household coming out into the world, being able to maintain healthy social relationships, being able to keep and pick the right friends and resource pools, being let into certain rooms, you have to be socially acceptable at a very basic level. And a lot of y'all, when your children see only you doing something, they grow up and they believe it's their way or the highway, like it was your way or the highway in their house with their single mother raising them. It sets them up for a lot of bullshit, and the bullshit be psychological and mental. Yeah, they still be well dressed like you got them dressed. You know, they still be well fed like you had them fed off them food stamps and shit like that a lot of times. But when it comes to really building relationships that matter and making life easier in a journey of positively going after getting to know myself, they don't be having that. They be struggling with depression. Teen suicide in our community is atrocious. The statistics on that. When you look at our kids' math and reading scores, I don't give a damn if it's private school or public school. They're sucking dicks, and the educators will tell you, right? You can see it from a mile away which kids in the class have a mother and a father actively raising them and which ones are coming from a woman-headed household. Male educators and female educators tell you that. Nowhere is on here. Nowhere films. I am a part of a documentary that he is releasing today. Go on his page. He just commented. But he's releasing a documentary. It has me in it, me and other women that get it, speaking on parental alienation and women keeping men away from their children in the black community, because we're the ones suffering the most. You guys will easily replace, right, fathers with food stamps and government assistance and peace of mind to be in control of all aspects of the child, which in turn hurts the child. Yes, the teenagers get on drugs. It's a direct route to prison for black boys being raised by a single mother. And it's a lot of black men that they're so generationally cursed and programmed that right now they're damn near want to fight me about saying this about their mom, not knowing she is the actual enemy to you. She is the reason you became what you became and why you struggle to stay out of the prison system or out of trouble, can't follow rules, don't understand stability. There is a very psychological damaging thing that occurs when you go 16, 17, 18 years watching your mother speak ill of your father, watching your mother operate from a space where even if she doesn't directly state the ill statements to you about your father, but you're watching her operate with all the weight on her shoulders, right? This is why a lot of men get y'all pregnant and then they don't see anything wrong with leaving most of the responsibility on you. Watch and listen for a second on me bringing this full circle. When you take a boy child and he grows up and he sees his mom do everything by herself, even if she's not a parental alienator, right? This gives him the program belief through what he saw, right? That it ain't no pressure for a woman to do everything herself. So then when he gets older, right, and he reaches that stage that most young dudes do when they come from a single mother-headed household lacking the resources of men teaching them about sexual discipline, right? He gets in that stage where he is sexually promiscuous, right? He starts sleeping with women, and let's say he sleeps with a woman unprotected and gets her pregnant. The woman is not the type of woman that he wants to commit long-term or settle down and marry, right? And guess what? It's already programmed in that young boy that it's not that bad of a thing to leave that woman alone and leave her with the baby and just pay a child support payment and she'll be all right. Know why? Because my mama did it, and I think highly of my mama, and she was all right in my perspective, so my baby mama will be all right. You make the young boys believe this is all right. It ain't necessarily their first choice or yours, but it makes it easier for them to do it. This is the retarded shit that y'all don't see, but you'll sit on the live and when I speak the truth, make it seem like I'm condoning their behavior. No, you bitches actually are. Every one of you that is proudly raising children by yourself with no real understanding that men need to be involved, you're teaching the younger generation that I'll be all right doing this. Y'all see me, I'm doing it. I can maintain it. I don't even want my kids to see that shit. I don't even want you to know that it's possible to do that. I want you to believe wholeheartedly that in order to raise children, both parents got to be involved. I don't even want you to know that a bitch could do it by themselves, good or bad. I need you to know the responsibility must be split. Two parties must be involved. Both genders must be involved. Both sides of the family need to be involved. Children need the paternal grandmother as well as the maternal grandmother. Cousins on the daddy side, cousins on the mama side. Money coming from that side, money coming from this side. Birthday parties with this side of the family, birthday parties with that side of the family. Rides and trips out of town with the dad, rides and trips out of town with the mama. Toys and gifts from the mama, toys and gifts from the daddy. Kisses and hugs from the mama, kisses and hugs from the dad. My kids need both sides all the time. I would shut the fuck up anytime for them to be able to get that, because that's what a real bitch do. That's what a real mom does. A real woman understands when I brought these kids in the world, they need both male and female. And for the ones that have a real deadbeat baby daddy, they even understand I still got to go get my son male resources, even though his father's not around, that could help me with influence, right? Doesn't mean you got to help me put my baby diapers on necessarily, or help me bathe my children at night, or feed them. But I need you to come help influence their mind as a little person. I need you niggas that work in the barbershop, that coach Little League, that fucking do the instruction at the taekwondo classes, that are employed at the recreation centers, being coach counselors or camp counselors to these children. I need the men that educate and teach in the classrooms like the women. Come influence these young boys, right, that I'm raising. Come get involved in my son's life. Talk to him. You know what? He fucking up. Come holler at him as a man. It don't always need to be me as a woman. I need him to understand what it feels like to take criticism from a male and a female. He ain't just got to be his daddy. The first choice is always the daddy. But when you can't get that, bitch, you got to find somebody else. It's a must. You can't just go, oh, they just need women. So I'm going to go back to what I said when I first got on here. Y'all know what day it is. There are a lot of fathers being kept from their children. There are a lot of fathers that are experiencing parental alienation. There are a lot of fathers that the women who are the custodial parents are negatively influencing the mind, the psyche of the child to operate a certain way with their father. It is a fact. I'm not going to sit back and sweep it under the rug. Every year, y'all going to get one of these videos, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to keep repeating it. I'm going to keep making videos, lives about it. I'm going to keep doing seminars. If you don't got your ticket for July 6th, click the link in my bio, get your ticket. I'm going to keep doing Zooms on it. You can book a one-on-one call by texting the number in my bio, 678-965-0698. I don't just teach about credit and multiple streams of income and, you know, entrepreneurship and marketing. I also teach about co-parenting. I do Zooms on embracing your femininity. I do Zooms on setting building your family up as a pack, not just a herd, meaning we operate like wolves and lions, not like no motherfucking gazelles all just running out of order, trampling over each other, fucking up their own culture, right? I also do Zooms in regards to relationships and working together and healthy communication. I also do Zooms on repairing relationships after trauma. I also do Zooms on generational curses, one-on-one phone calls on that. The number is in my bio. It's your job to get your child influence from both genders, male and female, mother and father. It's your job to program into your child. You don't want them to grow up and repeat the same shit you did, to tell them of your wrongs. I did a video explaining, even if you're one of these women that had a baby out of wedlock, right? Even if you're one of these women that you marry before you carried before you marry, it is still noble and necessary for you to tell the younger generation that, hey, don't do what I did. Don't sit up and glorify being some sort of bitter, sad, single mother thinking that you're getting some sort of award. Wait. Find you a man that is attracted to the idea of long-term monogamy with you or whatever your preference is, and go from there. Do not procreate until you stabilize yourself financially. Make sure your mental space and your environment and your resources are set up before you fuck another human up. There are a lot of us as adult humans that we was fucked up when we got delivered to 18. And if you come from my community, right, a lot of us, we can't confront or have these type of conversations with the elders that raised us, and they fucked us up. No accountability, no real abilities to process emotions, no management of emotion skills, no conflict resolution skills, no real structure to understanding how to work between genders. It was just their way or the highway, very authoritarian. We had mental health issues, fucked up on a lot of things that we needed. Don't know anything about financial literacy, credit, multiple streams of income, and we were just pushed out here. Some of y'all got to grow the fuck up. You hoes look pathetic. Pathetic. With that being said, I'm going to end off on the same note I started on. There are a lot of fathers being kept from their children. Go Google parental alienation.